First of all, I wanted to really start by thanking you for your time and attention for the next 12 minutes. It means a lot to me that we are taking our time, because right now the main commodity is actually our attention. We are living in the economy of attention, so thank you so very much. Now, today I'm going to talk about the power of risk-taking and why I'm so passionate about this topic. Because it's only through risk-taking I have become who I am today. I couldn't think of any other way or any other thing that I had done that put me on this place. Look at this goldfish. It's trying to take a risk to jump to the other bowl. Remember, anything you want, I mean anything you want in life, just one risk away. What if you could write your own job description? What happens in talent acquisition, I could tell from that field, because I'm in that field, we write your job descriptions. Our hiring managers write your job postings. You find that job online, you land that job, and it feels sort of like this, right? I am supposed to be inside this circle. So audiences right here, they would actually feel more because I'm close to this table, that table. But the audience over there, unless I actually walk over and I want to connect with you, sir, personally, then only you will be able to connect with me. So think of that, red carpet over here, yes, that's the convention. We're supposed to be here, not over there, or taking a little risk. See, it's not much, just walking out, because I want to connect with someone over here at this table. So that's what we're talking about. So once we land, and you know that, once you land that job, you thought it was a dream job, right? And then what happens? You start doing those tasks, and we figure out, oh, no, that's not my dream job. 50 to 80% of the tasks that I'm doing are actually not the tasks that I like doing or I'd love to doing. Then what happens is that we stick it out. We say, you know what? I will have another dream job, 2 years down the road. But for the first 2 years, because I don't want to really jump out, I'll just stick it out. I'll do, although I don't like doing what I'm doing right now. But I'll just keep doing it. Because what would my boss think? What would my mom think? What would my spouse think if I just start this job? I don't like it. So it's not about changing job, but it's about writing your own job description, meaning you can land here. That's perfectly fine. But there's nothing that says that, you know what, you can't come a little bit this way. You can't actually come a little front because I want to connect with this table. Same thing for you. So whatever your field is, I'll give a very simple example of how it happened for me. So I landed this talent acquisition role. I was doing okay. But then I wanted to do something in the online social media world. So at that time, the organization I work for was not doing anything to recruit people off of Facebook, because at that time, 2012, people were saying, LinkedIn is the platform. If you want to recruit people, that's the only platform. So I wanted to do something, try something different. So I write up this email to my supervisor at the time. I said, this is why we should have a jobs Facebook page. And we should be able to recruit people off of Facebook as well, because they are hanging out on Facebook too, just like they are on LinkedIn. So I write that email up, I send that email. I still vividly remember that experience. 11:55. I write that email, and then I send it off. And I'm waiting. That day, no lunch for me. I'm just waiting in front of my computer. And I kept refreshing that, inbox, just thinking that he's going to come back and say, yes, Shahid, you can do it. Go for it, right? I'm just waiting for that answer. So kept refreshing that inbox. Nothing came. 12:30, 12:50, 1, nothing. And then 1:07, an email comes, and then just one line. No, because the company already has a Facebook page. At that point, though, a lot of people will bail out. Say, you know what, yeah, I had a great idea. I pitched the idea, but you know what, my boss said no. Okay, So probably that was not a great idea. But it's about not giving up. So if you have an idea, you believe in that idea, you have to do anything you can to go get it, because it's your idea. So I met up with him, and I tried to pitch it again, and it's all about sales, guys. That's what people don't understand. Life is sales. Every day we're selling. Whether you're working, whether you're in business, whether you're not in business, everything is sales in life. So pitched it again. I said, hey, just give me a chance. Give me a chance. If it builds or if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. I said, okay, you know what? You're passionate about it, okay, go for it. And that's how many of you may know there is something called Ask a Recruiter that I proposed. For the first time in the Canadian talent acquisition history, back in 2013, candidates could actually talk to a live recruiter. Meaning you're a candidate, you want to know something, you can actually talk to a recruiter online. There is no admin person sitting on the other side. There is actually an actual recruiter chatting with you on Facebook, answering any questions that you may have. So that's how, that little risk that I took, remember that email, I was very, I was not sure whether it's going to work out or not, but that little risk really helped management see that, you know what, if he could do that, then perhaps he could also do something else. And that paved the way not only for the promotion, but writing the job description. And this is, I was blown away too, myself. My supervisor asked me one day that, hey, Shahid, this is the role you're going to do next, and I want you to write your job description. Like, type it up. What you want to do. So if I could do it, that's where I think you can do it too. It's just that little risk, right? Like you want to do something, you want to create something, you want to make something out of the work that you're doing right now. And once the right people see that, they will give you that opportunity. They will also tell you, go write your own job description. And that's where you will have a fulfilling career. Now, what if you could become the next thought leader in your industry? You know what happens in professional life? We have our degrees, right, from UFA or whichever university, what have you. And then we fit in this, again, this red carpet right here, right? And then we see, let's say Navneet had an amazing presentation. We say, wow, she spoke at TEDx, right? We get inspired sitting here, right? Wow, that idea was great. But why not you? Why not you, sir? Why not you, ma'am, at the back? That's what we don't think about. It's all about mindset, all right? We start following all the thought leaders. We say, wow, that was a great idea, John. Wow, that was a great idea, Susie. I'm in that industry, and I follow you online. But do I actually take that 1 minute to stop and think, hey, if John can do that, why not me? If Susie could do that, why not me? Why not I become the next thought leader in my industry? Why don't I change my industry? And that's what it's all about, right? You have ideas that can change your industry. It doesn't matter what field you're in. You have those ideas. It's just giving voice. Remember the first talk? It's about giving voice to those ideas. And the way you do that is, again, taking risks to solve big problems. Another example I'll give you quickly is in talent acquisition, again, the big problem we have is transparency, right? Candidates don't know how long it's going to take to hear back. They don't know sometimes who the recruiter is, and most definitely you do not know who the hiring manager is. If you're lucky, you get into the interview room, and then only you know who the hiring manager is. Then only you know who your future supervisor will be. But up until then, you have no idea who you will be working with. Why are we hiring them? Why? So I had this idea. I said, I'm going to break this transparency problem that we have in talent acquisition. Since 2016, What I started doing for the organization I'm working for right now is hiring manager podcast. So we actually interview hiring managers, sit down before a posting goes live, sitting down with you, getting to know you a bit, and then your leadership style. And then we record that audio podcast, very easy, and then put it at the top of the job posting. What happens, what it does for the candidates, think about it. For the first time in the Canadian history of talent acquisition, now candidates can know who the hiring manager is for this particular role, who I may be working with. So, because why it's important? Because you definitely don't want to get stuck with a micromanager. Right? You don't. What's more important, the more and more I work in talent acquisition, the more and more realization that I have is that it's more important, actually, the person you work for, that you get that person right, than even the role that you're in. It's very, very important that the leader that you will be working for, you get that person right. Because otherwise, you can't go where you want to go, because that person will not be behind you, supporting your goals and dreams. So what is that big problem you have in your industry? So now thinking about, oh, it's John will come along, or Shahid will come along to solve this problem. No, I'm not going to come along for you. It's you, right? It's your idea. You solve that problem. And then in the process, become that thought leader that you also can be. Last idea is, what if you could run a very successful business without quitting your job? The conventional thinking is you have a job or you have a successful business. That's it. You can't have a successful work 9-to-5 job and then also have a successful business. Are you crazy? It's not. Because the way we really encourage people is that, either you're an employee or you're a business person. That's it. You can't be both. So what happened is, this also didn't happen for me right away, but once I figured out that, you can poke the box a little, just like this, yeah, sure, I can be out, no problem, I'm still okay, right? I can go back, I'm still okay. So once you have that mindset of, I'm gonna poke the box a little and see what happens. Poke it a little, right? And see what happens. Then you figure out that, what? You can still have both. And my story began, back in Dalhousie University when I was doing my master's program. I did my master's in e-commerce at that university. And the story, the way it happened, was really started in Fort McMurray, and that will be home. And I was working for Shell Canada at the time. And it was very difficult in terms of the environment because I really don't like cold. So I was trying my best to get out of Fort McMurray and be in Calgary, the head office at Shell Canada. So my supervisor did help me. But then what happened is I landed in Calgary for a temporary role, which was good. But then one day I get a call that said, hey, HR wants to talk to you. Okay. So I go to that boardroom, 2009, February. I just got married in that December of 2008. So it's just 2 months of new marriage, and then I go to that boardroom. I'm sitting across from that HR person, and then HR person says, what, you have done a great job, Shahid. You always go beyond, what is required, so on and so forth. But what, I'm so sorry. This role is not required anymore. We are Xing out this role. So I couldn't really hear everything that she was saying, but all I was thinking, what? You gotta be kidding me. Right? I just got married and you're saying this role is done. But, she said, you can't be here till April, because we value your contribution and whatnot. But that really, made me think about what is possible. So instead of, going back to work again, so I took a risk. So little money I had, I invested and did that, master's degree at Dalhousie. And from there, I did on e-commerce. All of the folks were saying, go for an MBA, go for an MBA. I said, no, want to go for e-commerce because that's where online marketing and everything was going at the time. And learning that, and because I wanted to do that because you can then have a successful job at the same time, perhaps you could also build something on the side. So it's all about that side hustle that you hear these days. It's absolutely possible. So if there's one idea you have for your side hustle, I'm standing here. I implore you to actually take that risk. And you know how much it costs? Only $50. Just go to Alberta Registry and register your trademark tomorrow. It's Monday, and you are in business. Do you believe how easy it is to start a business here? But we don't think about those, right? We always think on this binary, I have a job or I have a business. We admire Richard Branson, but have we ever thought to ourselves, can I actually become Richard Branson too? Or some form of Richard Branson? That's what I challenge you to do. Like, think of yourself. You have so many great ideas within you. Give voice and then take that risk. And always remember, as I started this talk with, anything, I mean anything you want in life is just one risk away. Thank you.